Chapter 1 Caught on a Sinking Ship. The night was dark and calm as Pikachu boarded the massive cargo ship anchored near the port. He had been traveling with friends and had taken the opportunity to explore the ship while they rested. The crew had welcomed him, entertained by the tiny visitor who scurried between crates and cargo holds. Pikachu marveled at the ship's size and its maze of hallways, curious about every nook and cranny. But as he explored the lower decks, a sudden loud bang shook the ship, and Pikachu froze, his ears perking up. The entire vessel lurched to one side, sending crates sliding across the floor. Alarms blared, echoing through the steel corridors, and Pikachu realized something had gone terribly wrong. The ship had struck something, and it was taking on water fast. Pikachu darted back the way he'd come, but the corridor he had just passed was already filling with seawater, blocking his path. Panic set in as the water level continued to rise, sloshing against the walls and spilling into other rooms. Pikachu knew he needed to find a way to higher ground before the entire deck was flooded. He quickly scrambled up a metal ladder, his heart racing as he climbed, and reached the next level, just as the water burst through behind him, flooding the hallway below. The ship groaned and tilted further to one side, making it difficult to keep his balance. Pikachu forced himself to stay calm. He had to reach the upper decks, where lifeboats could be his only hope for survival. Taking a deep breath, he sprinted down the corridor, his small paws slipping on the wet metal as he raced against the clock to escape the sinking ship. Chapter 2 Through the Flooded Decks. As Pikachu climbed higher, he could hear the chaos unfolding above, crew members calling out, emergency alarms wailing, and the sound of water gushing into the lower decks. He could feel the ship tilting more and more, and he struggled to keep his footing as he moved through slanted hallways. The lower sections were now completely submerged, and he knew that the rest of the ship would soon follow. He came upon the dining hall, which had already started to flood, tables and chairs floating and colliding in the rising water. Pikachu took a cautious step forward, but as he did, a loud creak sounded overhead. He looked up to see a large chandelier swinging dangerously as the ship continued to tip. The water surged, lifting the chairs and tables, creating a chaotic mess around him. Suddenly, the chandelier broke free, crashing into the water below with a splash that sent waves toward him. Pikachu jumped back, narrowly avoiding the falling glass. The water level was rising faster than he'd expected, and he needed to be quick. He darted across the dining hall, leaping from table to table, dodging floating chairs as he made his way to the other side. He pushed through the heavy doors and entered a long corridor that led toward the stairwell, but the path was partially blocked by a large crate that had broken free and wedged itself in the doorway. Pikachu braced himself and pushed against the crate with all his strength. With a determined shove, he managed to squeeze through, emerging on the other side just as another wave of water rushed in behind him. He reached the stairwell, climbing as fast as he could. Each step felt heavier as he ascended, the sounds of the sinking ship all around him. His paws ached, but he pressed on, driven by the instinct to survive. Finally, Pikachu saw a faint glow at the top of the stairs, moonlight streaming in from the deck above. Hope surged within him as he raced toward the exit, knowing that he was close to escaping. Chapter 3 A Safe Escape. Pikachu burst onto the deck, gasping as he felt the cool night air on his face. But his relief was short-lived. The deck was a scene of utter chaos. Crew members scrambled to lower the lifeboats as the ship continued to tilt, the bow dipping dangerously close to the water. Pikachu scanned the deck, searching for an unoccupied lifeboat, but most had already been filled with passengers and sent overboard. The ship tilted further, and Pikachu could feel the metal deck slick with seawater beneath his paws. He carefully made his way across, trying to avoid the panicked crowd, but as he neared the edge, a loud groan sounded from below, and the ship lurched forward. Pikachu stumbled, nearly sliding toward the edge, but he managed to catch himself on a loose rope, holding tight as he steadied himself. Looking out, he spotted a lifeboat just below the deck, swinging precariously as a crew member tried to lower it. Pikachu's heart pounded as he realized this was his only chance. Summoning every ounce of courage, he leapt off the edge, landing in the lifeboat with a small thud. The crew member looked down in surprise, but, recognizing Pikachu's desperation, nodded and continued to lower the lifeboat. As the lifeboat hit the water, Pikachu felt a wave of relief wash over him. He looked up, watching as the massive ship continued its slow descent into the sea, its lights flickering as water poured over the bow. Pikachu knew he had narrowly escaped, but he couldn't shake the sadness of watching the ship go down, its towering silhouette disappearing beneath the waves. The lifeboat drifted away from the sinking ship, and Pikachu huddled in the corner, watching as the last of the ship disappeared into the ocean. The night was silent once more, broken only by the gentle lapping of the waves. Pikachu took a deep breath, grateful for the calm after the storm, and looked up at the stars, feeling a sense of peace settle over him. As dawn broke on the horizon, Pikachu saw a rescue ship in the distance, coming to retrieve the survivors. Exhausted but safe, he closed his eyes, letting the gentle sway of the lifeboat lull him to rest. He had faced the sinking ship, the rising water, and the chaos on board, emerging victorious. As he drifted off to sleep, Pikachu knew he would carry this adventure with him forever, a reminder of his courage and the resilience that had guided him through the darkest of nights.